Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu encouraged Tanzanian men to marry more wives. This is actually not the first time she has encouraged the men to marry more than one wife, but she's done it multiple times. Let me show you the clip, we'll come back and discuss. So she said that there's nothing wrong with such arrangements, and if men are successful and there's a harvest, there's nothing wrong with marrying more than one wife. And she said that that's what she believes in. And by the way, it's not just her. There are many cultures in Africa that practice polygamy, and it's actually legal. To name a few, Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, Kenya are some of the countries that allow polygamy to be practiced. This is like the second time we're talking about polygamy within, I would say, this 2 months. And the reason is it has become such a topic here, especially in Africa, because of all the laws and the bills that are being proposed. As you know, some countries allow polygamy in Africa and some don't. So the ones that didn't support polygamy are starting to propose the bill, which is angering, let's say, the feminists of that country and the rights activists. And we've talked about Ivory Coast just last month. So activists are angry over Ivory Coast polygamy proposal. Women's rights activists in Ivory Coast have expressed anger over a proposed bill that would legalize polygamy for men, calling it a step backwards in the fight for equality. Polygamy was outlawed in Ivory Coast in 1964. It's prohibited in many parts of the world but remains widespread in West African countries. Rights groups say Ivorian women face systematic inequalities and discrimination. The United Nations Commission on Human Rights considers the practice discriminatory against women and has called for its eradication. So the same topic is now being discussed in Nigeria, and this time around, the General Overseer, Peers of Heaven Society, Chief Mrs. Oyelola, has stressed the need for women in Africa to embrace polygamy rather than resorting to killing their husbands. She said women in Africa, especially Nigeria, must understand that culture and tradition place responsibility on men to marry more than a woman. Hence, they must not allow civilization to erode their culture. She said, quote, "It is callous for any woman to kill her husband out of jealousy. That man is the son of another woman and his life is also sacred. Moreover, in Africa, especially Nigeria, our culture and tradition allow a man to marry more than a woman. We must not allow civilization to erode on such tradition for posterity's sake." Here we also lecture women on the need to preserve critical areas of our culture. Even though this might sound crazy for the Western world, a lot of cultures in Africa do accept this and embrace it. But there are conditions, like the man has to be a provider. He needs to take care of his wives and his children. He can't just go on and create families without really being responsible. There are a few stories that we've covered a few years back where a man was married to 70 plus women and he was even asking for help. That is frowned upon. A Ugandan farmer that has 12 wives, 102 kids, and 568 grandkids is second guessing his family planning, and now he's vowing not to make more babies. Let me tell you the story. His name is Mzee Musa Hasaya and he's 67 years old. As I said earlier, he's a farmer, and he said that he has advised his wives to start taking the pill. He says he is feeling the rising cost of living in Uganda, where he lives with his large family. He said, quote, "I cannot tolerate bearing children anymore because of the limited resources. And on that note, I have advised all my wives of childbearing age to go for family planning. I also discourage those who wish to marry more than 4 wives not to do so because things are not good. My income has become lower and lower over the years due to the rising cost of living, and my family has become bigger and bigger. So he has decided not to make more babies, right? As I said, he has 102 children and 568 grandchildren. And he was asked, does he know everyone? He said, yes, I can tell the difference between all of them, but I don't know most of their names. Like, he gets it mixed up, and you can't blame him. That's 568 faces to put next to a name, as well as 102 children and 12 wives. So in his house there's 12 bedrooms, and I guess each bedroom for each wife, because he has 12 wives. He said initially he could afford to take care of his family, so he kept on going, he kept on adding wives, kept on adding children, but then things started becoming expensive and his income reduced, so now he's finding it hard to sustain or to feed his family as much as he wants to, and he's even asking the government to help with their education because he's not able to provide for all of them. And I also found interesting that he said his advice to other people, other men, is not to take in more than 4 wives. And I thought that was very specific. Maybe there's a reason why he's saying that, but it's interesting. He has 12 wives, but his advice to other men is don't have more than 4 wives. I don't know why specifically 4. Why not more than 2? Why not 3? Why not 5? He was very specific. Maybe he knows he was able to provide for 4 of his wives and his children very well, and after 5 is when it went downhill. I don't know what his experience is, but for sure he has an experience with big families, and that's his advice for the younger generation that wants to take up on more wives and, you know, expand their family members. So now he says enough is enough with the number that he has, and he has instructed his wives to take pills. That's not how most societies or cultures in Africa practice it, but there are a few that will take it to extreme. But anyways, fam, what are your thoughts on Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu, which is a woman, embracing polygamy and actually encouraging the men to take